You're listening to The Sizzle on Iron Skillet Radio and Iron Skillet Television.
Folks, it has been a busy 72 hours for Bethune-Cookman University after Ed Reed announced on Saturday that he had been dismissed as head football coach. They were negotiating a contract. They had not signed it yet, and he said he was not pulling out. The Board of Trustees made the decision to move in a new direction. We'll show you later that particular video that he put out. There were a couple of videos before that caused a lot of consternation among HBCU folks and Bethune-Cookman folks because he was highly critical of the university practices there, was complaining about conditions of the university, trash and things along those lines. And when he made the announcement on Saturday that he was not going to be the head football coach, students then, football players, launched a petition that they signed asking that he be returned, be hired as head football coach. Today, there was a rally on campus from students complaining about other conditions at Bethune-Cookman. This is not the first time the university has had controversy. They had significant financial issues, almost lost their accreditation, and many have said that the problem there is its board of trustees. Alumni are engaged in a lawsuit with the board of trustees. There's a lot of things that are going on there. And so what is the current state of Bethune-Cookman? What is the administration saying about what took place in today's protest?
Hundreds of students held a protest on the campus of Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona Beach today. Those students are upset that the university ended contract negotiations with prospective head football coach and former NFL great Ed Reed.
As West 2's Claire Metz reports, they think it's retaliation for comments that Reed recently made on social media the students believe are the truth.
Hundreds of Bethune-Cookman University students sent a message to the administration, to the board, to anyone who would listen with a peaceful but vocal campus protest.
We voice concerns, we send emails all the time, no responses, so this is what it has come to.
It came to that after the university broke off negotiations with prospective head football coach Ed Reed. Reed had recently taken to social media.
Joining us right now is the interim president of Bethune-Cookman, Dr. Lawrence Drake. Dr. Drake, glad to have you here on Roland Martin Unfiltered. And so there's several things that I want to cover over these next two segments. And so let's just walk through this. Ed Reed said he did not want to step down. He was not pulling out. Whose decision was it for him not to become the head coach? Was it you, the interim president, or was it the board of trustees?
It was the interim president. It was my decision.
It was your decision?
Yes.
And so why did you make that decision not to move forward with Ed Reed?
So we, as you know, about Sunday, a week ago, well, let me back up. Actually, starting in December, we were working on a contract for naming Ed Reed as the head coach. I interviewed Ed, and I had three important things that I asked him to ensure that he was willing to do as part of becoming part of the Wildcat family. One was I needed him to really understand that we were a Christian institution, that behavior and character were clearly our priorities. And I asked him if that was okay with him. Could he abide by that? Could he, position himself as a role model for our student athletes as well as for the university itself? He indicated he would. Second question I asked is, well, great, I'm glad you're willing to do that. I need to know if you're also willing to build the kind of program that will allow you, because you've not been a coach before, this is an opportunity for you to be a head coach your first time. The university is giving you an opportunity to do that. And therefore, we want to surround you with the kind of people that can draw up the X and O's and help you become a stronger coach. He said, I get that, and I'm willing to do that. The third thing is I said, this is not University of Miami, and it's not the NFL. We just came through 2 hurricanes, $6 million worth of damage. Much of what we've been working on for the last year and a half is improvements not only to the university's infrastructure, but also a long-term investment plan. We have about $100 million that we need to invest in the university over the next several years. We said to him, look, you're going to become part of that. Are you open to helping us do that and build the program? He said yes to that. So when we saw the first video criticizing the university and saying, well, it's trashy and my office is dirty and all that, first of all, he was an employee of the university, and he had not an office. When the last staff moved out, we started renovating that building, everything from the coaches' rooms to the other places. We had given him some permission that he really took to the next level. First of all, he wasn't authorized to even take video. He wasn't authorized to do any of those things, but he did them anyway. The university had to take responsibility for that because it happened. But quiet as kept, that isn't the kind of behavior that we would expect. And then the expletives and those kinds of things in that first video, you might call that an aberration. And I would say it could be. And you have to be a forgiving individual. But when you have this much damage, you look at the gym and you look at this video and you look at it critically. But I would invite anyone to come to our campus because all parts of our campus don't look that way. We are really trying to work hard to clean it up. And given the fact that, again, we suffered 2 hurricanes back to back, and because of supply chain issues, because most people in Florida, particularly Central Florida, are still recovering, I have people from my staff living on our campus because their homes were destroyed.
What makes it tough, Vaughn, is that when people make accusations, that people have to understand that just because you say something doesn't make it true. Like, just let me give you an example of our administration. We went through 2 hurricanes within a month of each other. Our football team was on the road the entire time. Our administration basically charged me with just make sure they're safe, make sure they're well taken care of, and make sure they're safe. They were on the road for a month. You know how expensive that is?
Yeah, very.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for our administration, our board of trustees, that wouldn't have happened. So, when you start to say that our administration doesn't care about these kids, you are dead wrong. You are dead wrong. And and you start to look at not only was the football team out, but the track team and the volleyball team were both out.
All right, folks, on Roll Unfiltered in Bethune-Cookman, the interim president, Lawrence Drake, sent a letter out to the university, to the faculty, staff, and students, letting them know about what is next as it relates to the release of Ed Reed, also updating them on what's happening at the university. You had the continuing fallout over this. Of course, we talked to President Drake yesterday, plus Ed Reed, plus the football players. In a moment, we're going to talk with some students at Bethune-Cookman. But this is a statement that was sent out by the president. First, let me begin by saying that I was very proud of the manner in which our students handled themselves during yesterday's student gathering. It was actually a protest. It was orderly and represented the best intentions of students sharing their voices. While social media and media outlets have seized on not continuing negotiations with NFL Hall of Famer player Ed Reed, many of our students chose to use this moment to voice their concerns. This administration takes no issue with this. In the coming days, I will meet with student leaders to ensure that we address many of the students' concerns and answer their questions as honestly as possible. To close the chapter on Mr. Reed, he was a tremendous player. Still, as we continue to observe him, we felt that his behavior was not aligned with the traditions of our founder, Dr. Mary Cloud Bethune, and the university. We have over 50+ inquiries concerning our head coaching position and are very excited about our candidate pool. Many of them possess not only knowledge of the game and the ability to assist in raising funds for the program, still they are disciplined leaders who have demonstrated their steadfast commitment to our Christian values. They also have the leadership skills to mold successful young men who are also student athletes. We've also added a football player representative to join the search committee, giving the football team a stake and a voice in choosing our next head football coach. We hope to announce our selection of a new head football coach in the next week to 10 days. Next, issues and concerns. Over the last year, Bethune-Cookman University has begun a complete assessment of its facilities for fitness, renovation, and teardown, as well as the construction of new facilities to enhance our campus. We've enlisted the assistance of CTG Construction, an Orlando-based firm with extensive HBCU campus experience, our facilities partner, Sodexo, and several environmental and architectural engineering firms to continue the assessment of over 100 buildings. Simultaneously, we began to prioritize and to prioritize necessity and cost as financial resources are limited. For some buildings and facilities, in light of two unprecedented weather events, Hurricane Ian and Hurricane Nicole, and enrollment growth, we've begun renovation and construction immediately. As with any process, facility age, building conditions, time to remedy, weather impact, and expense are paramount. To ensure we are thorough, this phase will likely not be completed until late summer or just before the fiscal year 23-24 school year. Once school begins in the fall, we will work around student movement and will likely require moving students around, which could be disruptive to their living and learning. Student logistics, campus housing, and instructional classroom spaces are keys to the university meeting its academic requirements. While I believe that the truth and transparency are always the best courses, some facts are not always friendly. However, we have to do what is right even when it's not popular. Our founder, Dr. Bethune, once remarked, the progress of the world will call for the best that all of us have to give. We will continue to move to be the best version of ourselves and to truly appreciate the patience of our students and all concerned as we work to improve our community. Hail Wildcats. We were contacted by student leaders from Bethune-Cookman who wanted to come on this show to express their concerns about what's happening at the university. Joining us now is Renee White, the 69th Miss Bethune-Cookman University elect, Tyler Kelly, the 69th Mr. Bethune-Cookman University elect, and Wilbert Stubbs, Bethune-Cookman's student body president. Glad to have all three of you here. And so you see the letter there from the president. We saw the protest the other day. We heard from the football players as well. From your perspective, and we had Dr. Drake on yesterday, from your perspective, who's telling the truth? What is really going on at Bethune-Cookman?
Well, to be frank, it's a lot going on here at Bethune-Cookman University. Today, we did have students come out and really speak about how they felt in terms of the conditions that we're forced to face here at Bethune-Cookman University. I myself have been here 4 years, and I've experienced so much in terms of like lack of leadership, lack of resources in terms of like our facilities. And I did send in some pictures in terms of like what my dorm looked like my sophomore year. Like, so there's a lot going on from top leadership all the way down to student leadership. We're struggling.
All right, folks, joining us right now are three of the football players at Bethune-Cookman. Those players have actually signed, I think it's about 30 or so, signed a petition asking the university to rescind their decision to bring Ed Reed back to the university. Jaden Bivens, the student athlete, Austin Yankawi, hope I pronounced that correctly, let me know, and Anthony Frederick. Glad to have all three of you here. First, are all three of you football players?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right, so first off, you've heard the interim president on the show. You heard Ed Reed there. Just share with our audience just your thoughts on when he gave you the news that they were terminating him, and what do you want the administration to know as it relates to Ed Reed for you being remaining the head football coach at Bethune-Cookman?
All right, I got it. So the importance to that is that Coach Reed in 3 weeks has essentially done more than this entire administration and other program leads, like other head coaching staffs and whatnot. He's done more in 3 weeks than they have in like of the past 5 years. Things that, you know, Coach Drake mentioned, saying that we didn't share helmets, we don't shower, or we actually have shower. We don't have showers. We don't have a locker room. We have to watch out where we put our stuff in the stadium locker room so it doesn't get wet and then get moldy, and then we got to practice in moldy stuff. Or when we go and put our stuff away, we put it in the shed, and then the shed gets wet from the rain, and then we got to practice in that moldy stuff. Moldy balls, moldy helmets. We share those moldy helmets too, and that gear.
Most of us had to buy our own Lysol and stuff to spray our. We had to clean our stuff ourselves. Once we get our gear from the equipment manager from that shed, it smelled bad. I remember the first time I opened my bag and most of the guys were just like, what's going on? We asked if we could, like, we asked for the basics. We asked if we could get, stuff to spray our stuff down. And that probably didn't happen until like the very, very end.
Yeah, we got that maybe week 8 was when we got that.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure on week 5 was when we actually had the mold outbreak in our helmets and gear. And in my gloves alone, I didn't wear gloves at practice because it literally just smelled like the epitome of mold. Like I was just smelling a handful of mold. And what makes this even worse is that we had to deal with the conditions when we were displaced. That was even worse. And I know that Anthony was here for the entire world tour is what we call it as a nickname.
Yeah.
We would spend 16-hour days with the football team. 16 hours. I have the receipts on that because I have the old screenshots of our schedule. And we would go from 8 o'clock all the way until 10:30.
Our off day would be considered. So one of the bus drives was considered as an off day. So we were on the bus for
16 hours.
Yep, 16 hours stuck on there. By the time we got there, it was probably like, I want to say
1:30.
Yeah, it was about 1. We got some food, and then after that, it was we went to bed. Then the next morning we wake up, meetings and everything, go eat breakfast.
Yep, a normal day. We didn't just drive 16 hours and get there at 1:30.
Your response?
I mean, I honestly, I was honestly at the spa, Roland. And when I turned my phone on, that's when I received your text. I didn't hear everything the president had to say. And he's an interim president. I don't feel like he probably would be the person even that would be here. There's a term that is used, when coaches get fired rather than firing head coaches. I've been around this a good bit, man. I'm a businessman, and he's probably just a scapegoat to things, man. And, I just woke up to this, man. I honestly, just the first time that I was able to relax. I've been in Daytona for 3 straight weeks recruiting kids. I have 3 kids, Dominique Ponder, Jeremy Greaves, and Jordan Johnson, who they in school, man. They already in school because they believed in me. Their parents believed in me, man. There's 30 kids that was here on Friday I was with when I got the phone call that they did not want me here. You understand? And I still gave $2,400 out of my own pocket for these young men to go host these kids. And I didn't tell the parents until Saturday morning when Reggie Theus sent the letter to my assistant, who was not hired at the time because none of my people were hired, and saying that tell Ed to withdraw his name. He wanted me to say this. I have the email. You want me to say that I'm withdrawing my name so you can save yourselves. I'm not here for nothing but these kids. I apologize for the unprofessionalism. This is what I've been teaching these young men. What these young men and young women did today is for them, man. That's powerful, man. That's old school things, man. I'm not here to bash this university. I know what Dr. McLeod has built. I've been researching it since they called me. In 1904, when she started this university with 5 young kids, it was built on education. I wasn't here to bash this university. I saw all the things that were going on. I have the tapes. My people and I have been shooting the documentary for the longest. I'm not here to bash Bethune-Cookman. I was still trying to get back to the job today. I'm a foundation. I've been running for 20 years, man. 20 years to work with kids. I built a park in my own neighborhood. You understand? Because kids are dying. This ain't right. This ain't right, man. For Mr. Lawrence Drake, Dr. Drake, to come on and talk about me in that way. I knew this was a Christian school. I knew that. I'm a Christian man. I know I played music, but do you see, he said he walked campus every day, right? I don't believe that. Because if you walk campus every day, you'll see what these young folk wear to school, man. You will see this. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? They worse than the songs. You have crackheads walking through campus, man. There's no security for these young women and men. I'm not trying to bash the school. We were picking up trash when I was screen recorded. I didn't post that. Somebody screen recorded me and put that out there because they said I was mutting the school. I'm not mutting the school. We're picking up trash. At the time, you telling me I'm mutting the school. I'm on the ground grabbing trash from under trees behind bushes because my football team was acting too cute. Don't interview me. Interview them kids. Interview the team. Interview these young women and men. I'm not here for, man, I got a 14-year-old son who I've been missing his stuff for 3 weeks. I'm tired, man. This is exhausting, man. They lying on me, man. Why lie on me, man, to save your face, man? Because you're doing something wrong. You understand me? I took families to a basketball game, and this man, Reggie Theus, man, this man is evil, man. You're evil, man. This man is evil, dude. I take parents to a basketball game, you understand me? And he don't come out during the warm-up at all. The parents are like, where's the coach? Then when you do come out, man, you got another man fixing your pants? Man. Bro, I'm not with these people portraying me to be, and the people who know me know I'm not like that, man. Yeah, I speak with passion. Have you ever seen my speech from Florida State game when we were winning? And I gave that speech. I respect everything Dr. McLeod built this thing on. I showed the team the video. You understand me? I showed the team the video after I saw it on Martin Luther King's birthday before the day when everybody celebrate him. I cry for them kids, man. I hurt for them kids because it's wrong. I got eight kids that committed the week before. These kids calling me, their parents calling me. What we gonna do? I can't get these kids in no school. I can't have these kids uncommitted and go somewhere else. And you telling me I'm withdrawing? No, I'm not withdrawing. I still want to coach here and coach these kids after all this going on. And I'm wrong, Roland? Come on, man. Come on, man. And y'all know what's right. Roland, you know what's right. You know that man on here lying.
You know who it is. You know what it is. It's the sizzle in the building, always with the hotness, always with the fire. You know who's in the building. He's Jay Sizzle. I'm G Sizzle. You know we've got a lot to talk about. We always have that fire. In fact, we're going to continue some fire conversation that we were having on the radio. That's right. We got to continue talking about Ed Reed. Jay. All right, man. So I don't know. Let's start here. The question is right now, Ed Reed had a job. Ed Reed was going to be the man. Ed Reed was going to lead the kids to the promised land. And now there's no land promised to Ed Reed. Jay, how do you feel about Bethune-Cookman College letting Ed Reed go before he even started?
Oh, the land promise is a landfill, right? Full of trash. That's what it is, right? And he called you out on it, right? I don't know what's Bethune-Cookman's. What's their team's nickname? I know what it should be though. It should be the Indian Givers. That's right, the Indian Givers. That's y'all your nickname. Gotcha. That's what y'all look like.
You know that's not politically correct.
That's sad. Well, it's not politically correct what Bethune-Cookman did.
No, it is not.
To your own people.
Mm-hmm.
How dare you? That's Hall of Famer Ed Reed.
No, I'm going to let you go ahead because you had an epic rant earlier, and it's not that it was just a rant. It was actual points where we're saying with Ed Reed, you get released. And this is the president has come out and said that Ed Reed did not align with the goals and the morals and the the whatever they have at Bethune-Cookman. And so he said, no, not a good fit. Don't like it.
You mean the goals and the morals that you have when you have trash all over your campus? The same goals and morals that you have that now you have thousands of your students out in the street protesting their living conditions? You mean those goals and morals y'all talking about? You talking about a Hall of Famer that you treated like trash? Maybe you just used to being around trash. Maybe that's so you just felt everybody should have some trash too, so everybody feel at home. This is the most disgusting thing I've heard of in a long time. And the reason why it is because you had an opportunity to bring a spotlight to your campus. You could have been JSU-like. But you decided, no, I'm not going to be that way. Why? Because we're going to keep doing whatever we were doing because that's how we've been doing it down here. But you hired Ed Reed, and with Ed Reed came a spotlight. All of a sudden, that light shone a little bit too bright for you, and you had a lot of dirt in them corners over there you didn't want to be seen. It was so dirty that you didn't even clean up where Ed Reed was coming into. Did y'all meet him at the airport? Y'all just used to trash. And now you got your students out in the street who come down to an HBCU. A lot of them come down because of pride. A lot of them come down because of pride.
Right.
Because they say they're going to the HBCU. They want to be part of the HBCU family. They you know, Alcorn and all of them get together and they all go, "You with HBCU?" "Yeah, I'm with HBCU." And there's a brotherhood, a fraternity, a sorority just from being in that HBCU.
Correct.
The camaraderie, right? And so these kids sacrificed to come there. And what happened?
A nightmare happened. Reed, who wasn't even formally employed yet, still came into the school, did community cleanups, had people come in, give of their time, donated their time and resources to make sure that the kids had a safe place to go, to make sure that they had resources. Now, News 6 reported that students at Reed's videos sparked the idea of protest, but added they have been living in poor conditions on campus for years. They said Reed brought that to a bigger stage.
Here's the situation was. They felt if they protested, there might be repercussions, right? Because we know it's a lot of nepotism in these situations, in these smaller schools like this, right? So they bring in a name here, they bring in a name there, right? And they keep a paycheck coming here and a paycheck coming here. And then they cry out, you know, look, we're being mistreated. HBCUs are being mistreated. And then you treat your own like this. These kids, Ed Reed screamed out, these blankety blanks don't care nothing about these kids. You know why? Because he was there for 3 weeks and he saw what was going on. And the sad part about it is, I think his nephew came down to play football there. So now if he transfers out of there, he can't play for a year. That double transfer, I think he has to wait for a semester or something like that. So if he already started semester, I don't think he can play football next year. I think Shiloh Sanders is in some type of similar situation. But here's the whole issue, right? Why? Why even bring Ed Reed down there? Why even do it if you were going to treat him like this? Did y'all not know who he was? Have y'all not seen Ed Reed? Did somebody who talked to him? You got Reggie Theus down there. I'm sure he's the one that made this happen. Isn't he the athletic director?
Athletic director and head basketball coach. So Reggie Theus should have a good understanding of what it means to be an African-American working within an African-American setting, but maybe he doesn't.
Well, I don't understand it. I'm sure he talked to Ed Reed. And y'all could.
Now that's a bigger question.
He had to. There's no way you're the athletic director and you don't talk to a person coming in to be the head football coach. Don't them two go together like peas and carrots? Something like that?
It should go back like ODB and Mariah, like babies and pacifiers, but I don't know if that's actually what's going on.
You know, well, I know what's going on. Here's the issue. You got people sitting up in high places of thrones that they built for themselves, and that there's repercussions for pushback in that community, right? And we know they have tenure and they can't be moved and this, that, and other, so forth and so on. and the position was more important than the kids. Because Ed Reed could have came down there and made a difference. He could have got those kids in better situation, brought more money down there. But you all didn't care. You know why? Because he wasn't an academic.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of times between academics and athletes, there's a big division there. But don't you realize, you know how your language arts building gets built? Do you know how that the new wing on the Spanish studies, do you know how ancient Beetle studies of the Nebuchadnezzar land, you know how they get paid for? Right. Usually the football programs.
Right.
Usually the football programs. That's why you go. Colorado was 1-11 out there, and they walked through those facilities, and I went, oh, my goodness. I mean, there are NFL teams, yes, NFL teams that do not have the facilities down here that the Colorado Buffaloes have, that do not have the facilities that Alabama has, that do not have the facility of Oklahoma and all your major Power 5 schools. They don't pay money like that. They don't look like that. The Bears facilities don't look like that.
Well, maybe the new Bears facility will look like that.
Well, no, they're going to still be practicing somewhere. They ain't going to be practicing at the stadium.
Well,
the only time they come into the stadium is to play.
Maybe they'll make a whole land out there. It'll be like Bears land. You come practice, you come play, here you stay.
Well, however the boat flows stuff, but it is a doggone shame, an absolute shame that Ed Reed was treated this way. And it's a shame that your kids are out in the street protesting. So now what we're going to do, we're going to cry broker now, right? Broker, because you could have, this could have been a windfall for you. Well, at least a few extra million, at least a few. Easy few. Probably more like 10, 15 million coming in there. But maybe it would have been like JSU. Say, did you see the stadiums filled up down there? Mm-hmm. 60,000 in the seats. And Deion got money after 28,000. They kept saying they didn't sell out. Wait a minute. The evidence shows it's 60,000. So y'all let in 32,000 people, 33,000. Y'all said, hey, half of the rest of the city, y'all come on in.
Mm.
We didn't take that money in. We didn't take that concession money in. We didn't take that ESPN money when they came down there. We didn't take all that money in. Where'd it go? Deion had to fix the facilities himself. Had to kick back $150,000, paying out his pocket so his team could eat. I understand that HBCUs have a problem with funding football programs. I understand that. But the education just can't be academic. It's got to be holistic.
Right.
And if you're going to have to stop playing football, why don't you just have your bands come out and play before the game, and then somebody can come out there and play Xbox, right? And then at halftime on the Xbox game, y'all could do the halftime show because that's all y'all really want to do.
Mm-mm.
And then after that, you can play 2, 4, 5 more minute quarters, and the whole thing can be done in an hour and 15 minutes. Everybody can go home. Why not do that? Because if you're going to field a football team, then field one. Figure out a way. There's money. There's money out there, but did you go get it? How come you weren't at Under Armour? You know, I don't know. It's just sad. I mean, I hate to see, especially when you have. And here's a terrible part about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you might have had some other players. If Ed Reed went down there and had success, you might have had other players from the NFL coming down, other millionaires coming down. They say, you know what? I want to be part of this too. Hey, you know what? Let's go to Elkhorn State. Let's go over here. Let's go over here to the other schools over there. Let's bring some money there. I'm gonna support them. Maybe LeBron comes down there and throws a couple of million your way. Because soon as something gets cool, they all start coming. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, now you got Steph Curry coming down there with all you gotta do is everybody wearing the Curry cleats, and he's gonna throw $5 million to you. You know, because it's all about advertising. It's all about getting that money, and they know how to produce stuff. You could have had a whole bunch of athletes coming down there, right? All you had to do was open the doors for them and clean up. But I guess because of the hurricane, you didn't know it blew away your brooms too. I guess the wicked witch of the West flew away on your broom. I guess that's what happened. So go find another.
The funny part is Ed Reed did address some of the same topics and the same things that you're saying on Roland Martin's show, where he did a live interview and talked about the people that he had coming in. One, namely, was Shaquille O'Neal, who was going to donate to help bring facilities, to help bring those things those kids need. Ed Reed, by all standards, was doing a yeoman's effort and had brought in 40 students, at least 40 players, to come play for the program, to turn that program around and change the course of what had been going on at Bethune-Cookman.
Shame on you, Bethune-Cookman. Shame on you, whoever's up there who made these decisions, because you were only making these decisions about you. And when Ed Reed came out there, instead of you standing up like a man or a woman and saying, you know what, he's right about that, let us do better, what'd you do? You pulled the plug to save you. Oh, look at us. Now look at you. Go, oh, but maybe if you have all these people coming down there, maybe they start opening up the closets a little bit more. Maybe you start seeing where'd that money go to and where'd that money go to. And I put this $5 million in here and I only see $2 million of it went to the facilities. Where's the other 3? Maybe if you have money into, maybe all of a sudden the athletic department becomes more powerful than the academic department. Maybe you have to go ask them for money. You know, power is corruptible, man. I'm telling you, power is corruptible.
Let's talk about this for a second. Since we're already here, let's talk about the state of HBCUs.
Yeah.
Because this is not just an individual case with Ed Reed.
No.
Eddie George said that, unfortunately, Ed Reed accepted or walked into a situation he didn't know the full dynamics of. But do you have to know the full dynamics to know that you should do right by your students, do right by the university, and to bring every opportunity that you have for young people who are there, as you said, who have sweated, sacrificed, crawled, scrawled, did whatever they had to do to get there? Where is this state now for HBCUs?
Well, the problem is, see, the HBCUs, after a while, it's become a fraternity, a heritage, you know, a place of to be celebrated, right? And the academics, I always thought that the academics were like, okay, you're here, so just deal with it. You know, you're going to get a good education. I'm not saying that HBCU education is not a good education. Don't get me twisted when I'm saying that. But I am saying that there has been some corners cut, right? There's been some corners cut. And is that the place to cut where the kids are living? Can you compare where you're living as a professor at HBCU to where your kids are living at? What about the meals they're getting? You know, the thing about it is, what is the legacy that you're going to leave? Because right now, you got the kids protesting in the streets about you. You should not be sleeping well this evening. And then what are you going to do? You're going to threaten the kids? Hey, if you don't get back to class, you know, you're all going to get, we're not going to give you the credits. We're not going to give you this. We're not going to do, we're going to kick you off the school council. What you going to take the Greeks out? You're going to take the Greeks out. What are you going to do? The problem that you need to be worried about is that other kids out here, these sophomores and juniors who were going to come to an HBCU, all of a sudden they go, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. If those kids are protesting or mom's going, hey, you know what? No, I don't think so. Because usually moms and dads don't really know how broke you are when you are in college.
True.
They really don't know how broke you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're just trying to make sure that the tuition's being paid and that, you know, they have enough. I remember my mom sent me $37 one time. You know, when your mama sends you $37, that means she ain't got no money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? No money. $37 and some Hydrox cookies. That's what she sent. You know? So when their parents are making sacrifice to pay these HBCU tuitions, you know, and then all of a sudden they're going, well, I don't need to go down there. I can send my kid to school right here in state for $7,000. You know, we can go 2 years to the community college over here and get that associate's degree. and then stay in state. I don't need to come. I don't need to send my kid all the way down there, take out a loan on the house so they can go to school saying because, I went to Bethune-Cookman, I went to the HBCU, I wanted the Black experience. Is this a Black experience you were giving them? Is this Wakanda? No Wakanda forever?
Janila Jones, student at Bethune-Cookman, she stated that they have voiced their concerns. We have sent emails all the time, no responses. So this is what it's come to.
Because they don't care. And I'm going to tell you why they don't care, right? Because they already have you there.
Mm-hmm.
They already have you there. See, it's the recruitment. It's just almost like going into some branches of the armed forces, right? We do more before 9 o'clock than most people do, right? Mm-hmm. And they get you on the rah-rah. Nothing wrong with any of the military branches. The only thing I'm saying to you, but I just showed a young man the other day, he was thinking about going once to the armed service, I think it was to the Navy, and I showed him the internment process. I think it's that correct, or I forgot what that's the exact right name for it.
Well, if he has the internment process, then that means you're trying to kill him, Jay.
Well, again, okay, that's what they think they're gonna die when they come up in there, and they bring them in at night, and all of a sudden they strip them away from being persons, and they bring them in to be in one team, and they start making them into Marines, and you have to start breaking them down in the process. So all of a sudden, all that what they thought they were going to get isn't what they thought they were going to have. Now, later on, are they going to be produced and make great people? Yeah. So it doesn't mean that these young kids going to school at these HBCUs aren't going to come out and have fabulous career places. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying the education's bad. I think the education's fine. Everybody I've ever heard of that went to HBCU, they never complained about the education, right? The situation is, though, but why are we living like this? Why are kids in the street? Why? The tuition's already paid, so or we could say we just don't have any money. Why? Where are the alumni?
Mm.
They only show up on homecoming.
Well, it's not going to be a lot of showing up to come to homecoming for this year if you don't get a representative team there. But let me tell you something that a freshman said. I pay thousands of dollars a month to be here, and it's taken care of. The last couple of months I was here, I was literally sick because of the mold. My shower makes me sick, and it makes my skin break out.
Because it's the same buildings. They have not done mold remediation. Mm-hmm. It's the same. They have not went. They know they should have been took out that drywall. Probably the same drywall's been there. They pitching it, patching it here and there. Right? You got to come in and do renovation every year. You got to come in there and do something. But they don't, right? Because we don't have the money for it. Why? Why don't we have the money?
That is the bigger question when you start talking about HBCUs and where the state of HBCUs are. The question is why. The question is, and not just why, but why not? Why not have the facilities? Why not get the monies? You look and you see in the news that Howard is applying for a $90 million grant.
Yep.
This is just a science grant. There are other schools who are applying for grants. So if you're Bethune-Cookman, why not have a facility where a ex-NFL football coach can come and bring notoriety to your school and to your players?
At least why not come in there and have it clean when he gets there?
Mm-hmm.
And say, hey, coach, we've had some situations going on here. We don't have enough money to do this and that. Our maintenance bill is way too over our heads. We're trying to take care of stuff with our kids, but we can't do it. But since you're here, we're hoping that you might bring a spotlight to HBCUs and possibly bring some more money in so we can get some facilities and infrastructure taken care of. I'm sure Ed Reed would have been like, sure, let's get it done. You know what I'm saying? But Ed Reed came down there and voiced what was going on down there like any dad would. If I came down there and saw these conditions deplorable down there, as a father, you're going to try to do something. And Ed Reed, the passion that made Ed Reed great is also the passion that drove him down there to go to an HBCU following Deion, because he saw what Deion did. And said, man, look at the kids he's turning out. Look at him stopping yes, sir, and no, sir, and stopping and letting the young ladies get on the elevators before they do. And you don't have all this nonsense going on and people getting arrested. Did anybody get arrested at Jackson State in the last 2 years? I don't think so.
I heard of.
I don't think so. I think that was pretty prim and proper down there.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee you, if you see anybody up in Colorado, is going to be any filth and flaring going on up there? Nope. Because he already said, if I hit anything, you're gone. You're gone. You're out of here. Because I can get somebody else, right? So when you have a man who's down here coming to produce men, isn't that what you want to do? Isn't that what you want to do, produce men and women? Because this is our future that you're producing. And so now these young people say, well, look, I came down here because of the dream, and now it became a nightmare. I'm sick physically, but I'm still coming to school. Come on, y'all. Do better. Do better. You deserve better. If you don't think you deserve better, at least your kids do. Some kind of way, get it cleaned up. Some kind of way.
But Jay, that's just effort. Therein lies the rub. And let me say this, if I may take 5 minutes on my soapbox. As a former HBCU student, parents who graduated from HBCUs. In fact, I was one of the few in my family that came out of a PWI. So the thought and the dream and the legacy and the goal to be at a HBCU was ingrained in our family. It was something that we were told from our grandparents all the way up to my brothers and sisters. It was something that you believed in and that you did. And I went to an HBCU. I went to an HBCU that lost their accreditation, which meant at that time I had to transfer. But during that process, things were lost. My ability to continue the educational path that I had started, my ability to finish my pledging process, my ability to stay with the friends that I had made as we went around and we toured and places we went, things we did, all of that was taken away because of the why not? Not the why, but why not have the things? I remember getting into a shower, and whenever you turned on the water in the showers, the roaches came out before you could shower. And then you had to learn how to negotiate with the roaches. How do I shower? And you two we live and coexist. When there was one washing machine in a dorm, one dryer in a dorm, dorms didn't have phones. This wasn't in the 60s. This wasn't in the 40s. This was in the 90s. And you have children now at Bethune-Cookman who are going through the same thing. No children should have to lobby as they're in school for just better living conditions. Not, hey, I want a car. Hey, I need a better job. I need better living conditions. I need better housing. I need air. I need heat. We need something to eat. Many schools still have lost all of their food service contracts. They've lost their janitorial contracts. So shame on you, Reggie Theus. If you're the athletic director and you talk to your head coach coming in, then you go to the store. You go and buy the Clorox wipes. You go and get the mop. You go and clean that office and make sure when your head coach comes in, you said, this is the effort that we put into what we do here. You do it by your hand. You do it with your people. You call your people in, you get the students in. You work because you're working towards a legacy. You're working to building something. And right now at JSU and at BCU and all of these other schools now, the question is for them, why? Why Deion leave? Why Ed ain't here? The question is not why, good friends. The question is, why not? Why are they still not there? Why did they have to go someplace else except where they were and where they were building a legacy and then have to do it somewhere else because you, as Jay Sizzle said, decided that you got in your feelings and you felt some kind of way and you want to do it your way. And ooh, he's saying some stuff I don't like. This goes back to what we tell our sons all the time. You can't get in your feelings about some of the words that come out of another man's mouth, another man or woman. You can't get so petty and you can't be so little minded in thought. I know that's not a word, but I'm using it anyway. You let Ed Reed walk out the door. Was he right for his tirade? Was it professional? No. But neither was the fact that he walked into the office where he can't open a window, where there were things still in the drawers, trash on the floors. And you decide that he's the one that's got to go. Jay Sizzle, I will tell you, he's not the one that has to go. But I guess it's a lot harder to fire a board of regents or to send the trustees away, but much easier to not sign a head coach that you brought there to make a difference.
Absolutely, G Sizzle. And here's the thing about it. Is your office clean? That's the whole question about that.
Mm-hmm.
Are your living conditions better than your students? Here's the thing that's not even funny. This is not even funny. This is absolutely sad. Let me tell you how sad this is. Deion would have probably still been there at JSU.
Yeah.
He probably would have still been there. And he was going to bring more people with him. Mm-hmm. And there might have been some other coaches, people coming down and more money coming down, spreading it out amongst the HBCUs. But what you have done is that you've had people pump the brakes. You had them pump the brakes. And now they're saying, nah. If y'all treat Deion like that, how you going to treat me?
Mm-hmm.
If y'all treat Ed Reed like that, how you going to treat me?
Mm-hmm.
Shaquille O'Neal come out. Short-sightedness, you know? But if all you're really concerned about, I'm not saying all of you, but some of you there, I hope this hits you. You're just worried about that, them letters in the back of your name, in front of your name on that plaque on that wall. So you can say, I'm this person, and I'm that person, and I'm this person. But one thing I understood about being in charge, you need to be of service to the least of them, to the girl whose skin is breaking out because her place, her dorm has mold in it. Talk about that at your next committee meeting, or whatever it's going to be tomorrow, next week, week after that. Y'all all get together and say, look how bad we've been mistreated. But here's the sad part about that. All the spotlight that was coming down in the HBCUs, they just got turned off. ESPN money's not going to be there. It's going to go away. Might get a little bit next year, but after that, nah, it's gone. It's gone. Right? And just for that moment, that door that was cracked open, that money that could have been coming in there, you could have gave out more scholarships. You could have helped more kids go to school. You could have helped build up your infrastructure. But as G Sizzle said, you got in your feelings. So how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? You know, it's a sad day for HBCUs. I didn't go to one, but I wish I had. You know, I wish I had. But I went to a Power 5 school. But the sad thing about this is none of that really matters. The only thing that really matters now is those kids protested out in the street. Here's the sad part about this. Here's the sad part about this, right? When Deion gets offered into Colorado, there are people there at the airport cheering that he got there.
Mm-hmm.
Did you meet Ed Reed at the airport? When he pulled up and got out the car, there were people outside clapping for him as he was walking into the facilities, chanting his name.
Mm-hmm.
Were you there when he got there? No, because you really didn't care. Because the other side is, you're probably looking at, oh, we can't afford that. And how much was Ed Reed asking for? And I guarantee you all this money wasn't for him. It wasn't for him. It was for the facilities. He had to get his stuff ready for his kids coming in because he was bringing in 40. It's a shame. It really is. It's a shame. Get mad, hitting the comment line, whatever. But, you know, if you good with it, then you good with it. Because I'm not. And I'm tired of talking about it. It's just sad. But you know what? I'm going to talk about it again tomorrow, though. Next time we up, next Saturday when we on, I'm going to talk about it again. Because now we're going to start digging and finding out what's really going on.
Yeah.
Now.
The question is, again, as we said, it's not the why. The why isn't the question. It's the why not at this point. Why are you not doing? Why have you not done? Why are you not giving these kids what they need? These are our babies. These are our children. All of those kids there could be my son, my daughter. These are kids. And just as Jay Sissel said, I know how it feels to struggle.
Absolutely.
And you don't call home. You don't write home because you know your mom and your dad, they don't have the money. They had enough just to get you there.
Damn. Hey, G, can I jump in on that one?
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't be surprised when their mamas come and start coming to get them. Oh, I didn't know what was going on like this. I'll be there to get you.
Mm-hmm.
When they bring the SUV down, throw it all in the back. You going home. Oh, baby, you was going down there to school? No, I don't think so. You going right here. You going right here. We can save you that money.